Welcome back, students. In this video, we're going to cover Module 6, Topic 7, Inequalities in Two Triangles. Standard for this topic is GR 1.3. The objective, you guys are going to solve problems using the hinge theorem and its converse, and we will talk about that here in a few minutes. Page 16 of the Module 6 packet. Since I'm working ahead of you guys, well, I'll do the you-dos, but I'm not going to do all the warm-up. I want you guys doing some of this on your own. So here, we'll just get started with the warm-up. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of it. You guys can finish it, and we'll finish it in class. So warm-up. The lengths of two sides of a triangle are given. Find the range of the lengths of the third side. Excuse me. Sorry. So for this, the range is going to be the big number minus the little number, and the big number plus the, let's see, I'm just making sure. Yeah, the two numbers added together. I was thinking it was big plus big for a second, confusing myself. So here you got 5 minus 3 is 2. So our little number will be 2, and then x is going to be in the middle, and then 3 plus 5 is 8. So that's how you get it. Just use another pen. We'll do the first 3 and leave the last 2. All right, so for number 2, we have 10 minus 7 is 3. 10 plus 7, 17. Easy enough. Do number 3. So number 3, we got a decimal. No big deal. 4.6 minus 1.2. And, you know, I do a lot of these in my head. Some of them because I've seen the notes before. Use a calculator if you need to. Seriously. I mean, you guys that want to work at longhand, that's perfectly fine. But when we're doing tests, if you want to do all the work end to end on the paper, that's fine. Let's just verify what you can with a calculator. We don't need little mistakes just because of our pride. Seriously, that's what the calculator's there for. So, off my soapbox. Again, if you guys are paying attention, let me know. You know, I like to know sometimes it feels like I'm not talking to myself, so if you guys are actually listening. So, all right, number 3. So we're going to subtract these two numbers. So 4.6 minus 1.2 is going to be 3.4. Then our x is in the middle. And then add these two together. 1.2 and 4.6 is 5.8. Just looking to make sure I agree with last year. Okay. Number 4 and 5, you work on your own. We're going to scoot up here, and we're going to talk about the hinge theorem for a moment. Again, page 16 of the Module 6 packet. We're finishing this up. We're halfway through the book already. So you parents listening out, we've halfway finished the book. I'm going to send a message out to you guys and communicate a little bit, letting you know what's going on between now and Christmas, and then what to expect after the first of the year when things really crank up. So, Theorem 6.12, the hinge theorem. If two sides of a triangle are congruent, so we got two sides are congruent, two sides of another triangle. Okay, so two triangles have congruent sides. Let's just do this. All right. And the second side, we'll make it in this green. It's slightly different. Just trying to get the point across here. Okay. And the included angle. Let's use the blue here. Of the first is smaller to the included angle of the second. So hold on before we get too far ahead of ourselves. So these angles, they're not congruent. So wait a minute. Let's see, two sides are congruent. The included angle, okay, yeah, they're not congruent. So I'm not gonna mark them that way. I'm just gonna make them blue because we're talking about the angle with the blue highlighter. Sorry. Okay. then the third side of the first triangle is going to be shorter. Let's see, yeah, smaller, shorter, and the third side is short. Yeah, so let me read this again. If two sides of a triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, so one side, two side, and the included angle, so this is the included angle between the sides, just like we talked about side angle side. This would be side angle side because the angle is between the sides. Okay, back to this. So included, the two sides are congruent to another triangle. The included angle, so this angle of the first is smaller. So let's just write smaller. This is larger. So, all right, the included angle of the first triangle is smaller than the included angle of the second triangle, which would be the larger angle. Then the third side of the triangle is shorter than the third side of the second. So smaller, it's actually shorter, but, well, we'll say shorter. We'll say shorter. Larger, longer. Okay, so bigger angle, bigger side, smaller angle, smaller side. Just like we were talking about with the inequalities and the other stuff. This is all kind of building together to get us thinking, and everything to this point has been congruent, and that's been by design because you guys need to see the rules. Now we're getting into, so we have two sides that are congruent, but this other side is not. But now we know a relationship based on the relationship of these two. That's what makes geometry. It has its complications, but in the end, as I'm trying to convince you guys, there's a lot of puzzles and a lot of you got to put the pieces together, know the rules. There's a lot of trick questions, and a lot of you guys like that, and you should like this. I wish you would. Anyway, sorry again, making a short video longer. My apologies. Let's see here. We're gonna just stick with this green because it's in my hand. All right, so hopefully you guys understand and write all this out with the hinge theorem. So let's talk about it a second. Got the little problems, flip over. We'll talk about the converse. Practice a second, and we're all done. All right, I do on the left. Which side is longer? AR, so this side, or RB, this side. So going back up here, smaller angle, shorter side. Well, you can't see that. Larger angle, larger side. Larger, larger. Smaller, smaller. These are S's and L's. So what's longer? RB. Why? Because the angle at 32 is greater than 18. Sorry, guys, I have trouble with those 8s. All right, you do on the right. Please pause the video. I'm going to wait 3 seconds. Work this by yourself. It's really simple. Here's the answer right here. All right, which side is shorter? So now they want the shorter one. Here they wanted longer. Here they want the shorter. So larger side, larger angle. Larger, larger, smaller, smaller. So what's smaller? AD. And why? It's because 49 is less than 61. Which makes AD less than DC. And then over here that makes RB greater than AR. All right. Underneath, boating. Two families set sail on their boats from the same dock. The winds sail 3.5 nautical miles north, then 85 degrees east of north, then sail 2 nautical miles. The Griffins sail 3.5 nautical miles south, turn 95 degrees east of south, then sail 2 nautical miles. At this point, which boat is farther from the dock? Explain your reasoning. Hint, draw a diagram. So you guys are already fundamentally aware of my drawing skills. So, we're just going to make the best of it at this point. All right, so let's see. They're going to start at the same point, and we're going to end up with 2 triangles. And we're going to compare the angles to get the answer. That's where all this leads. Okay. I try to be pretty straightforward with you guys. So they go 3.5 nautical miles north. And then they have 85 degrees east of north. Then 2, okay, so they're in the orange. It's Auburn week, so I don't do orange. Try not to do orange and blue back to back. So 3.5 nautical miles south, then they 95 degrees east of south, and then 2 nautical miles. So why don't you just do it like this? So they're going to start at the same point. And remember, if we go north, south, east, west, it's the same point, but we'll start over here. We're going to go, so they're going to head north. And I may screw this up trying to draw it correctly, and I had it better last year. We'll see. So north, then they turn 85 degrees east of north. And then, so 2, and they head north. Okay, yeah, so this would be the 3.5. All right, so the other side should go, yeah, south. Then east of south, yeah, so 3.5 here. So these are going to be the same. We know the sides are going to be congruent. This side is congruent to both because it connects both triangles. It's this third leg here. And that's what we're trying to see. All right, so at which point, who's further away from the dot? The one that turned here, the one that turned here? And this is 95. So what does it say way up here? Larger angle, larger side. So that means our buddy, so who is who here? Oh, the winds. The winds are up here. So the winds had 85, and then the griffins had 95. Okay, so 95 is greater than 85. So that means the griffins were farther away, excuse me. Glad I'm not an English teacher. So larger angle, larger side, or longer side. The larger, yeah. Nobody here to tell me I'm off the page or anything like that. Larger angle, larger side. Griffins were further away. All right, let's flip over. Page 17. Let's just scoot this here so I'm not off the table so bad. Okay. Page 17. Drones. Esperanza and Landon each fly a drone from the same place in the park at the same altitude. Esperanza flies her drone 440 feet east, then turns at 122 degrees south of east, then flies 300 more feet. Landon flies his drone 440 feet east, then turns at 140 degrees north of east and flies 300 more feet. Whose drone is closer to the original position? All right, so let's see what we have. Let's do a. Let's see. Let's just do these. Okay. So we're going to make Esperanza blue and Landon's going to be purple. Right? Okay. So same place at the park, same altitude. She flies hers, so 440 feet east, then turns 122 degrees south of east and flies 300 more feet. So 300, and it was 122. All right. Just messed that up. That was her, and I made her. Oh, geez. So she's purple now. She's purple. Lord. And he's blue. All right. Now, Landon. So, wait a minute. So she flies east. So they both fly 440 feet east. Then he is going to fly 140 degrees north of east and then 300 feet back down. So he is 140 degrees. All right, so you guys already know. Previous page, larger angle, left side. Smaller angle, shorter side, smaller side, whichever. You guys know. Smaller, the number will be smaller. Larger there. So who is closer? Well, right here, your smaller angle, your smaller side, and that's going to be Esperanza. I'm sure I've mispronounced her name. I apologize. Because 122 degrees. Lord, cannot is less. 122 degrees is less than 140 degrees. Okay, let's see. Make sure just a second. So 122. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. All right. Write a 2-column proof. Again, page 17. I'll just scooch this up just a hair. We have the word bank over here. Should go pretty easy. So write a 2-column proof. We're given that PQ is congruent to PM. That's the first statement and the first reason. Number 2, PN is congruent to PN. Now we're trying to prove NQ is greater than NM. So we're looking at these angles. It's going to be the same situation from something like this up here. So PN and PN, well, that's the same line. So it's going to be here, and we're talking about PN and PN, the same line, and that's reflexive. Right there. All right, so we have two things left and 2 spaces. So one's talking about the hinge formula. That's going to be because the angle is great. One angle is greater than the other, so it's going to go down here. The other option we have, it says angle addition. Well, this is adding 2 angles, this angle plus this angle. So, I was telling you guys there are plenty of hints. So let me just do this here. Angle addition. Measure of an angle plus measure of an angle. Wow. All right. Angle. Now, obviously, the questions aren't going to be this one for one like this, but you can still get in the habit if you guys pay attention and put this to work. And, the McGraw-Hill assignments have stuff a little more complicated. Same thing with Alex, And don't think that I won't give you extra credit for doing Alex. And, hey, look, like I didn't understand blah, blah, blah. So I went on to Alex and did these topics. Can I get something for that? Absolutely. All day long. So just word to the wise. Again, pay attention to the videos. All right, number 5. And of course, we only have one thing left. But so the measure of angle NPQ. So NPQ, that's this angle, is greater than NPM. NPQ. I think that's worded a little weird because NPQ is the whole angle and NPM is only half the angle. This is so, but we're trying to say NQ. Okay, I guess so. It's a little weird because it's a bit of a weird drawing, but either way, hinge theorem. Okay, so let's go down here, talk about the converse, practice it twice, and we are all done for module 6 and halfway through this course already. Don't worry, we got a lot of stuff to do in December, so I was hoping to be done with module 7 by the time we went to Christmas break, but we'll at least get it started. I don't know that we'll finish. Anyway, let's see. 1 second, I'm just trying to check to make sure. Says it's recording. I haven't even checked. I should have checked before I recorded the second video, or even before I started the first, but here's hoping it didn't mess up again. All right, so converse of the hinge theorem, page 17. This is the end of packet module 6. So it says two sides of a triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, and the third side of the first triangle is longer than the third side of the second triangle. Then the included measure of the first triangle is greater. So it's longer, greater, shorter, lesser, just like before. But this is talking about the sides. If that side is longer, that angle is greater. If that side is shorter, that angle is smaller. Just the reverse of what we just talked about. It's not, it's just the same thing. We're just talking angle, side instead of angle. And that's kind of how it goes. And I try to keep you guys, aware of that. But anyway, so let's do these two problems on the bottom. We have find the range of possible values of x. So we got an inequality here. Let's see. How did I do this? I gotta look. Okay. All right. So let's just start with the inequality. We solved the inequality. That's all I did. So we'll do that. So we'll say 3x plus 45. So we see here this side is smaller than this side. So this angle has to be bigger than this angle. So it's going to be 3x plus 45 is greater than 68. So that's why it's a range of values. All right, so first step, we're going to subtract 45 from both sides. It's going to 3x, because this cancels. So greater than, subtract these two, we got 23 left. Divide both sides by 3. Next is going to be a little over 7. It's 7.67. We're going to round it to 7.7. So x has to be greater than 7.7. All right, other side. Same thing. So notice this is the longer side than this. So that means this angle has to be less than that. So now we say 3x plus 10 less than 55. Because larger angle, larger side, lesser angle. Either way you slice it. All right, subtract 10 from both sides. 3x less than 45, divide both sides by 3. X is going to be less than 15. So, let's just look at this for a second. So, x is, if it's less than 15, let's make it 14. So, get my calculator out. Always telling you guys. So, if x is 14, 3 times 14 is going to be 42 plus 10. That's 52. So if this is 52, that's the smaller angle, smaller side. 55 is bigger. Let's just try, if we say 15. 15 times 3 is 45 plus 10 is 55. So if these angles were congruent, these sides would have to be congruent. So that's why it has to be less than 15. I hope you guys get that. If you have any questions, let me know in class. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We will see you. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good night.